What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another Beta Memoirs. And today was an exciting day. We've been waiting for this. Well, not quite exciting, but we were waiting for some information today from a Mr. Powell today. We've been leading up to this. I've essentially stated that today really didn't matter. There wasn't a lot of weights. Being said, there is no FOMC meeting next month. So we're going to go a whole 2 months before we get essentially our next FOMC meeting. So what we were looking for today was a date on when they would start tapering. All we got is soon. Being said, I think Powell is essentially paving the way for kind of letting everybody know that it is going to happen. He just wants people to know. He's already letting them go. He's just essentially greasing the skids right now, just to try to alleviate perhaps the impact it may have once they actually start tapering. Rate raises and everything like that will come next year is what he's saying. They don't know when. Everything was just at some point soon is what we got. But being said, coming into this morning, the Evergrande situation, I guess they have essentially they've funded the payment on the bonds, but any of the interest they're trying to essentially kick that can down the road for another month. And so what it sounds like, it's a hot mess over there, but it doesn't look like it's going to have a major impact like it will tomorrow. Again, come tomorrow, we'll see what happens. But ultimately, I think the whole Evergrande situation is going to be ongoing month to month. And maybe for some reason they don't come up with a payment. Again, they're going to keep trying to alleviate it and not allow this massive corporation to default. So we're going to see what happens there. So it's still going to be in the mix. Just be mindful of it. Be cautious of it. But aside from that, everything looks really good. Fundamental-wise, the market very strong for tech, with what Powell was saying and what is essentially being brought up about the tapering. I think we're going to run extremely hard fundamental-wise. Now, technically, we look like garbage. Technically, we've broken below the 50-day moving average on SPX, which is not good. We've essentially retested that today. Going into Powell, we got kind of a boost there, or we got kind of a boost this morning off of the Evergrande stuff, but it essentially led us right into the 50 on the daily. And as you can see here, we popped right into it, and then we sold pretty hard after the fact. So technically, we don't look good. But we'll have to see. Maybe we gap up. And this is one thing I definitely want to watch tomorrow. This is a very key point here. Pivotal point is 4420 mark. Let me just double check that on the daily here. Essentially that, the 4420 mark, 4421 mark. If we could break back above there, I think we can go back and retest some all-time highs. Again, this month, next month are volatile months. We may come up with another reason to sell, but ultimately understand that right now, fundamental-wise, everything is very strong for tech and growth stocks. With the tapering and understanding about the rate raises, we knew the rate raises was going to be something that's going to be dealt with next month. I guess people like that reassurance. Nonetheless, we saw a lot of tech run hard going into close after Powell talked, especially Snap was a big one today. But being said, we want to keep an eye on that. We want to see if we break above that. If we don't break above tomorrow, this could be an issue. I think we could see some more selling, something I talked about. We do need to kind of shift in going into the new earnings cycle. So being said, I think if we get rejected tonight, if we don't gap up tonight, I think there could be some selling tomorrow. Again, I don't know how heavy it's going to be, but technical wise, I think we get rejected pretty hard here and we start selling again. QQQ, Again, looking pretty strong for the most part on the daily. This is something to keep in mind, right? It's even QQQ is right on the edge right here. It's trying to break above the 50. Is it going to stay above the 50? If it does, I think tech can really lead us. One thing I could possibly see, I mean, value and everything. One thing I didn't check was BA, but yeah, a lot of these different stocks, they're right above that. If they hold above these, we can definitely see some big plays on the daily. A lot of stuff. Tesla looks phenomenal. Again, as soon as SPX turns, I think Tesla is going to be gone from that point. Google held the 50 and is doing good, but it does need to break that the 28.29 mark. If it does break that, or 28.30 mark, if it does break that, I think that can go back to all-time highs. A lot of these look like they want to go. Apple, not so hot on the daily. Technical-wise, it does not look hot. It looks like it wants to sell. Then you got your Microsoft, which bounced off the 50 nicely. It looks like it wants to break back up and go back for all-time highs. Then you got your Amazon. Pretty much could possibly come back down. I'd really like to see it back down around the 200. I think this is probably as low as it's going to get. It did have that wick, and the buyers picked it up quick. Going into the holiday season, this is one of the hotter stocks. So I think at these levels, you really got to be mindful of it, risk management. But I mean, we're getting close to that point. As long as we don't completely tank, I think Amazon is at a really good buy point. I could almost say the same for Shop, but everything is turning over. We did break out of the wedge. Is as long as we can break back over that. Let's see here. 1490 is really a true test. If we can break back over that for Shop, I think we can see some running. I do have a little bit of watch list here today. Just things to keep in mind for what's going on technical wise. PLTR, Planter, it did break the wedge today. Had a nice little pop here. I want to look for a continuation on this. Could possibly see, as long as it holds this 2741 mark, could possibly see a push back up to that 29 mark essentially. So we have to see, again, this is a first bounce. If we do start selling, obviously I would much rather have it near closer to the 200. It's always more of a better, safer bet. But we want to see if we do continue to sell. If not, again, want to watch. Square had a pretty massive day. This is one thing I definitely want to watch tomorrow, is if we hold, as long as we can stay above that 257 mark, I think we can, if we get a retest of that 270 mark and the market is pushing up, could be another great one to jump into, especially for earnings. Earnings is still way around the corner. But if we can start building a base here, that'd be great. I do like Square a lot, fundamental wise. SE, another big one I want to watch. I want to see if it breaks here. If we do start breaking up, I want to see if the daily candle comes out of here and does a retest. So this may be a day or two to check on this to see if this does. It has been holding the 20, which is really nice. It never actually touched the 50. So this wedge break could be nice to watch, to keep an eye on. Firm is the other one I do have. Firm, same thing. Looking for a wedge break here. I have an alert set. If it does break on the daily, get a retest for entry, and then possibly go again for all-time highs on that one. Facebook had some bad news today. They've tanked pretty hard. That being said, if we could really get it around the 336 mark. Again, ultimately, if we could get closer to the 200 moving average, would be great. But it is Facebook, and we definitely have to see what happens with that. There was some news. I don't recall what exactly it was. In my mind, it wasn't anything. Oh, it was Apple Ads is what it was. I guess Apple Ads is taking more revenue away from Facebook. Again, it's Facebook. Zuckerberg's going to figure out a way to make money. So, being said, I don't think that's that big of a deal. Just trying to wait for this to possibly base. If the market does churn, I am seeing that Facebook has tried to churn today pretty quickly as well. When the market started to churn, it did have a little pop back. But ultimately, I would like it down closer. I mean, that 35, I need to put between like 35 and 30. 330 would be fantastic. When we get one more solid leg down, it would be great. I really don't think we're going to get that with Facebook. I think possibly 335 is about as low as we're going to get. Again, buyers are moving in at this point, so even on that news. So TTD is the other one I like for tomorrow. I've been trying to grab this at this lower levels, but it popped faster than I thought it would. Being said, on the daily, as long as we can hold above this 75.64 mark, if we start building a new position where we break back over this and retest on this, TTD would be good going forward for possibly longer swings. I think at this point, I start building some positions on these. This is why I'm mentioning some of these. But just keep in mind, again, still very volatile. Something can come up in the next couple of months and tank us pretty fast. But I think ultimately we're getting a lot of the shakes out, so that's something to keep in mind. NVIDIA tested the 50. It looks like it's trying to break back over the 20, something I want to watch tomorrow. I want to make sure it holds over that 219 mark. If it does, possibly even go retest all-time highs is what I'm looking at there. MSTR is one I want to keep on watch because it is basing around the 200. It hit the 200 the other day. I didn't catch that. But if it continues to base around here, if Bitcoin actually starts to running again, which I think it's trying, it did get rejected at that essentially the 43,800 mark. But it does start breaking above that, you can start seeing MSTR start really running. So that is also something I want to keep on watch. So if you have made it this far, just really watch that key level tomorrow and make sure it breaks before you really take a position on this. If we do break, I think we can possibly see some all-time highs again. Again, it's not looking great technical-wise, but there's no reason for us to really sell either. Everything does look very positive as far as a bullish movement. So we just want to watch that key level tomorrow and see where we end up. But if you've made it this far, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.